Recording. Make sure the transcript's going. Yes, okay.
I'll be leaving at 8:30.
Oh, could you?
Don't mess my shit.
I'm messing with you. I'm messing with you. Just quit your job. Quit your day job. Or should I say night job?
Night job.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, third declension. Who's excited?
Yes.
So Jay is finally bringing the hype. I tried to have it earlier when I came out. I was like, "Ooh, third declension, woohoo!" And they're all just like tired. And then you're like, "Yeah, okay." So where should I even start? So you all remember how first and second work? First declension is ones that end in alpha or an eta, right? Second declension are ones that end in omicron. Third declension is consonants. So where are we gonna start? I don't know if I like the way the book does it. We'll just go over one word example. It's called sarks. Sarks. That is the nominative singular.
I think you're talking about this Wednesday, weren't you?
Yeah, before we actually started. Anything. Yeah, I gave you all some bonus stuff. So, sarks, can you tell me what declension it probably is? Third declension. Yes, third declension. Now, can you guess what the stem is? And what the ending is for the nominative singular?
It is.
It's sigma. That is the ending. Now, you might be wondering, well, how in the world is sigma the ending? Which he already knows because he got the stuff from last week.
Because we were this.
Do you remember the answer? Do you remember the answer?
Because the word starts with sigma?
No.
No.
That's not what.
What would it be? I'll do write this down.
It's because of this fun thing called the square of stops that we'll go over in a minute. Where basically the actual stem for sarks is sark with a kappa at the end.
And sark means flesh, right?
Yes, it means flesh.
It means yellow.
So basically, when you add the case ending of sigma, you get sarks. So before I get into the actual case endings, I'm going to teach you the square of stops. That's what I'm going to do different than the book, but I wanted to just show that off first to confuse you.
The labial, velar, and dental.
Yes, you don't have to spoil everything.
So yeah, the square stops. You basically find two
What did you say about spoiling? You're spoiling it for the two in the back here. I haven't heard it. I am correct. You haven't heard it yet, Jay, right?
No, I haven't heard it.
Yeah, it's like, come on now. Just because I gave you all like the ramble doesn't mean you have to give the ramble. Yes, there's the labial. And you will need to write this chart down. Labial. The velar. Yeah, you probably do. And the dental. Basically, these are consonants of different types. They are called these based on kind of how you make the sound.
Oh, I know this one.
Gosh darn it. So the first labial, and you'll want these in the exact order I give them, is P. P. Then we have beta.
theta,
And then we have phi.
p, p, theta, p.
Yeah. These ones try to say P without your lips. Without using your lips. Try to pronounce P. 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 Yeah.
P, T,
Or, yeah, be or
V,
say.
Yeah. Try to do any of those pronouncing wise without using your lips. You can't.
T,
Labials. They use the lips.
T,
Then we have the vowels. We have kappa. We have gamma. And we have key. Let me try to remember the exact wording for this. These ones are formed by pushing up the middle of the tongue against the soft part of the roof of the mouth.
K,
Ka.
Ka.
Ga.
Ga,
Ka.
Ga.
Yeah.
Ka.
You two in the back, you getting it so far?
Yep.
Not bad.
Not bad.
But you haven't even seen how they function yet. But yeah. The dentals, they use your teeth. I hope that was obvious. Probably was. We have tau, delta, and theta. The main fun thing is that both in verbs you'll see later, participles, and third declension nouns, you'll see that whenever one of these combine with a sigma, they're going to have some changes happen. So this is its own thing, the square of stops. But there is the combination endings, or not endings, the combinations for the square of stops. When you add sigma. So besides the two that I already know, so basically just Cleo and J. With labial, when you add a sigma, what do you think they'll combine to form? What letter? We already saw that the velar, like in Sarch, you'll have a Z. Okay. Kappa plus sigma, Z. Gamma plus sigma, Z. Chi plus sigma, Z. Now what about these? Any guesses? Phi, beta, and phi. C.
C.
It is Z. That's good. That's good. Got it. Okay. Now what about the dentals? What will they combine to do? You two keep your mouths shut. Very funny. Opening your mouth as I was saying
I
anything.
think I know.
What?
Is it would be chi?
No. That's that one and it's pronounced key.
Oh, that's a chi.
It's key. It makes a cut,
Chi.
not a chip. It's just a cut. So, any other guesses from the two in the back? It might surprise you, actually. But I'm gonna allow time for guesses. You got any other guesses?
The answer
Going
is in the
once.
question.
Huh?
The answer is in the question.
Oh, hush, Jacob. It's a sigma. These just drop out. So the dentals will just drop out if there's a sigma that follows it. Make sense?
Sense.
So labials, E, beta, phi, you get C. Kappa, gamma, chi, you get Z. Tau, delta, theta, you get sigma. Am I good to erase it? Y'all got it written down? Whole thing?
Yep.
Okay. Now, the book gives what they call 4 handles. I will now describe to you real quick because you might want to know. I'm not going to write them out unless I feel necessary. But I will read them out because I feel like you should hear them. With the third declension, as you saw with sarks, it is kind of hard to tell what the stem of the word is. Okay? So the book and I will recommend you to memorize the genitive singular form along with the lexical form of each third declension noun. I should also mention you have to memorize the gender because it's not really clear which gender something is. Like, do I remember what sarks is off the top of my head? No. It's probably feminine. If I have to take a guess.
Why would it be feminine?
It is feminine. It is just because it is. Each word just has its own, unless it's an adjective or something, each noun has its own just gender that it has. That's how you determine which articles go with it or which endings. So yeah, sarks is feminine. You just have to memorize that.
Or do it?
I mean, I guess you don't have to, but like, it might help. Okay, another hint they give you, whatever happens in the nominative singular, so we'll just go back to the sarks example. It will also happen in the dative plural. So this is having a sigma ending. The dative plural, it's not meaning they'll be the same ending, but they'll combine the same way they did before. So the ending for dative plural is, I guess technically, it's C or seen with a movable nu. Y'all love movable news, right? Yeah. So sarksy. Nominative singular. Dative plural. This is basic. They're giving you one of those where it basically always happens like this. So you might want to write it down because they don't say it basically every time to most things. They're like, oh, this has an exception 1,500 times, but we're going to say it's the rule. Okay. I guess I'll just say this. A nu will drop out when followed by a sigma.
Does that mean the news before?
Yes. So it'll just be a sigma. Just like I ain't having none of that. No, thank you. Yeah, they don't have anything like runs. They don't go on runs, I guess. I didn't like that sound. And then also, another letter does it. The tau. It also just goes to sigma. But also, if a tau is by itself at the end of a word, it just disappears. A tau will not end the word.
So how come they mention that if a towel's at the end, it'll just disappear instead of just saying there are no words that end with towel?
Well, I mean, because sometimes they'll have a tau in it, and you're trying to like change the form, with case endings and stuff, and you'll be like, where'd the tau go? And that explains why the tau disappears. Because sometimes, like, if all the stuff from the ending disappears or something, then there should be a tau at the end, but then it's like, nope, the tau goes because of the rules. Okay. And the tau just disappears because it doesn't like being at the end. I think that's all the hints. Yeah, like there's the word anima, which is the word for name, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. It's actually supposed to be automat, automat, but then the tau drops out. So when you have to remember what that one is for, putting case endings to it, you have to remember there's supposed to be a tau there. So when you attach like the nominative plural, epsilon sigma, then you're not gonna really want to forget that tau's there. Instead, you're just gonna want to attach that back on, stick that with it. Makes sense. Clear as mud. Okay. Here, do you all want to get the before we get to the actual endings, do you want to see all the forms of SARCs?
Go for it.
Is it just J or okay? So, you all can probably figure out which ones to go where. I'm joking. Let's write out everything again. I guess I should just have all these singular, plural. There we go. We have what genitive. Dated. Accusative. Okay, we have, you guessed it, SARCs, right? Then, in the genitive, you might want to write this down, by the way, for an example. This is when writing individual words for your charts actually kind of helps because there's different words with different endings. So just having one to generalize all the types would help. So this one is sarcos. I'll kind of underline the endings for you. Yeah, sarcos. Then we have Sarki. Jacob's just not even writing. He's just staring.
I don't really have any year. It's right now.
Do you have a pencil?
All right. And I think I'm just gonna take a.
You're gonna take a picture or something. So yeah, we have Sarks, Sarkos, Sarki, and Sarga. That's the first four cases in the singular. How's that look so far? It's not too awful, right? We're expecting a scarier thing from third declension.
So far.
So then nominative plural. We have sarcas. And then everyone's favorite. Everyone get ready to clap because it's your favorite. The one that never changes ever. always constant, always your friend, always there for you when you need them. The genitive plural always comes through. The own ending never changes, never dies. Sarxine, as I mentioned, in one of those hints. Look at the only ones that have the Z in them. Wow. It's like one of the things was that the dative plural will match the nominative singular or something. Do you think the accusative plural will break that? Do you think you'll have a Z? Possible. The suspense is building. No, it doesn't. It just has an alpha sigma.
Oh man.
See, you recognize a decent amount of these kind of, right? They're kind of familiar. You just got to memorize a new little bit, right? Right. Extend this arrow. I didn't make it nearly long enough. There we go. So yeah, there's SARPs. That's it. That's it for that one. Like, not terrifying, right? Fine, we're calm.
Yeah.
So for the dative plural, just to clarify, it wouldn't have that V sound because the V is in is it the new in parentheses that it's removed?
It's a movable new. So it sometimes will be there and sometimes it won't.
That's right.
It depends on the word that follows.
Okay. How do we determine which word follows there?
Well, I mean, usually if it's like the word that follows starts with a vowel,
Okay.
they'll put that because they don't like two vowels following each other in the end of one word and the beginning of the next one. They don't really like that. So they would add that consonant sound just to be able to separate it. So, not bad. Now let's see. There's two other types of words you'll typically see in the third declension. Let me give you a technical. I guess they just like these are the main three words you want to memorize their forms because they'll help you know all the forms. So there's this one, and then there's that I'll write it up here a little higher. Automat, which is not the lexical form. It's not the nominative singular. That's just the actual word. But remember the tau drops out. So the actual nominative singular form is just anima. So these are all ones that end with ma. It's a different category. Okay, you with me so far?
Yep.
So these are just I'll give you the three you want to memorize here. And then I'll give you the actual endings. See if you can pick up on what the endings are before I get to it. That's actually a thing they try to do before they give them to you, by the way. Is okay, now that I've given you all these charts, you should be able to give me the entire chart for third declension without even looking at the next page.
Wow.
I kid you not. Ounce is a psycho. Kidding. So we have anima, animatas. See that tau comes back. And as I've probably told you before, The main form of word is usually the weird one out. The odd one out. It's the weird one of the bunch. However you want to word that. Because this is the only one that doesn't have the cap up. Besides this, also weird one. Then onomati is the next one. Then we have
And these are all singular, correct? Now that you look at singular.
yeah, these are the singular ones. Yeah, we'll separate like that. Anima. By the way, these ones are apparently all neuter. I'll make sure on that note, but this is one of the few consistent patterns in the third declension. Wow, gotta love that. And like all neuter nouns, nominative and accusative are always the same. Yes. Okay. Oh, yep, it is literally just. Can you guess? Can you guess?
Mhm.
Before I finish,
The onomatopoeias.
Sonomata.
Oh yeah, neuter.
And then, oh my gosh, everyone start clapping. No one's clapping. Yeah. Our always consistent friend, own ending of the genitive plural. Always consistent, always there, never changes. Always. He is always there. Always. I just want to drill that. Always. You can always know this means this. I probably sound like I'm crazy though. Yeah.
Onomai.
Huh?
Onoma.
Onomatone.
Oh no, I was like,
Onoma.
I'm thinking for the next one, for the data.
What do you think it is?
I thought it was onoma. Onomai.
No, it's onomacene
Really?
with a movable noon. Because it's a scene ending. That's what you'll figure out for the dative plural. Instead of ois, it just switches the sigma and the iota. Or instead of iota sigma, it's sigma iota. That's literally it. That's the difference. I spoiled it a little bit, but and then there's that optional nu there, the movable nu. And as you can remember, the tau drops out in both. Yeah. Can you guess at what?
Onomata.
Yes, it's onomata. Now, who's ready for the last one? Remembering correctly, is ones that end with a new. Yeah. In this case, example will be team. What is the notes? Yeah, it's that. Okay. Ts.
These.
Because the nu drops out because of the sigma.
Right.
Makes sense.
Yep.
Rules. But then immediately we get a T knots.
Oh.
Because the nu, is not followed by sigma, it's followed by omicron. This one I feel like somebody might internally chuckle. Teeny.
What's next one? Meanie.
No, it's Tina. It's teeny Tina. Everyone's just quietly chuckling to themselves except for Eli. He's been dead faced this whole time from what I can tell. Do you find Tina to be funny?
She knew.
Sure.
Okay. Well, can't always win. Okay. Then we have teenage. Or teenage.
Elves. Let's see.
Look at that word. Welcome to the Wheel of Fortune. We're gonna go on that Vanna White thing again. Everyone start clapping. Actually, everyone, please. Yay! Who is it? Who's our good friend?
Bob.
Just say Owen.
You're my
Tino.
Owen. It's our good friend Owen. He's always there when we need him. Whenever we're confused and don't know the endings, who do we always recognize out of all the random faces? We always recognize Owen. They never change. Always there.
He's always on his own.
No, he's not. Huh? No, Owen is plural.
So Owen is never alone.
Yeah, never alone. Never alone. Okay, next we get TC. Or Tissy. I don't know. TC or Tissy. It's up to you, I guess.
With a movable nu.
With a movable nu. Then we have Tinox. Now, I should explain. This word is one of the most, well, not most, it's a pretty confusing word. If you add an accent mark, it becomes a different word. This is one of the few words that do that. See that? That's different than that. Has entirely different meaning. Just because I added an accent mark. I will now tell you the two different forms. So there's tease and tease. Two completely different words. You can't miss them. Can't miss the differences. Okay. So tease with an accent is the interrogative pronoun who? With a question mark. This one without the accent is the indefinite pronoun anyone. Someone, anyone, yada yada.
So basically, like,
They they can be in the neuter as well, which kind of changes up the endings. But as far as I'm aware, basically in the neuter, I'll just put in here. You just get T. That's the same. That's the same. This one's also just T. This one's Tina. That's the same, because of course it is. It's its own. Of course it's the same. This one's the same. And then this one's Tina. That is literally the only difference is just the nominative and accusative. When it's in the neuter. Wow, I'm sure you could cut that sentence out pretty bad. Yeah, otherwise, this is good. These are good examples for what you're about to be dealing with. How are you all feeling? Confused? Stressed? I want to hear. I want to hear before we move on. Okay, I got thumbs up from Jacob.
So for like the ending of it, so the words mean like the words look the same, but they're not the same. How many different words do we have that will like have that same kind of relationship?
This is the only one I remember like this. Like literally, I think as far as I'm aware, these are the only ones where we have something that small change that much. So yeah, just know that this is that one teeth versus teeth with an accent mark. Yeah, they share the same endings too. Basically exactly the same, just change the accent and it changes the definition. They even have the same root. But I'm sure you already figured that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just dragging it longer.
How much do the breathing marks like affect? So the breathing marks.
They don't really affect definition, typically. They just affect pronunciation, which I haven't gotten as much
Do
into.
breathing marks affect it? Or accent marks?
Accent marks.
Oh, breathing marks do tell you which word is which, typically. Accents marks don't really tell you much. Sorry. This is the one case where the accent marks tell you difference. Breathing marks, there's like, that's terrible. You'll literally see in just a little bit. There's ace, which means into and among, right? You recognize that one. But then there's, I almost did the exact same mark again. But then there's haste, which is a completely different word. So, into, and this one just means one. There's a few words like that. More than this for sure. But it's also just the rough breathing mark. I feel like that's a bit better than memorizing the acute and the graves and the circumflexes on words, right?
Do this play a role though in like the interpretation of the word itself? Like
The accents,
yeah, I mean like understanding acute circumflex.
they don't really do.
Listener.
They don't really help with interpretation, except in this case. In which case, it just tells you which word it is. Otherwise, I don't. Pretty positive it doesn't. That's why I haven't been writing all the accents, because there's probably a lot of accents I'm missing on this chart. I'm only just giving you the rough and smooth breathing marks because I don't feel the others necessary for the level we're at. We're not pronouncing them like professionals. Mounts would probably be like super mad with how I was pronouncing half these words. Be like, actually, the circumflex near the end of the word actually gives a sound, and you're just messing it all. Like, we don't care about that. We care about the we can translate. Okay.
Yeah.
That's advanced right there. We're not getting to that for a bit.
Mm.
Well, we probably won't get to it at all. As a group, we won't. But okay. Any other questions before moving on? Y'all feeling all right? You're feeling all right. You're feeling all right. Cleo, how you feeling? You look nervous. You look scared. Honest opinions. Honest opinions.
This is all third declension, right?
Yes, this is all third declension.
There are many different endings. I'm confused, like how the endings are the same, or maybe I'm just
I'm about to show you the endings. So you're just like, I need to see these endings. I'm not quite getting it, right? Well, I mean, but you can see there are similarities between these two ends, right? Can you see the similarities between sarks and tees? But then you also see the similarities probably between the anima and the T over here. Do you see the similarities there?
See similarities in the genitive plural.
Of course you do. He's reliable. Always there. Okay, who's ready for the actual chart? Who's ready? Okay. It's a smaller chart than the normal one. You want to attach this to the normal one. It's like a two. So you know how you had your masculine, feminine, neuter, like 3 columns, right? And then the 8 rows here. Well, basically, this is a slightly separated 2 columns. The first one will be masculine and feminine. The other column will be neuter. And there will still be 8 rows. Do you want me to write out the whole original chart to show you as well? Okay, I can do that.
I think it would be easier for me to
I'm going to write the proper endings this time to the original chart as well, okay? So we're going to get rid of the connecting vowels. So they might look a little weird. But this is the technical, this is what Mounts wants you to memorize. As the book author, I gave you the other because I was like, it's easier to start off memorizing it. But now you'll kind of understand it a bit better. So I guess you can do the other. Okay. So we have first and second. I feel like this marker's getting out on it. I'll make the board and then I'll grab a different one. Third declension. Yeah. Yeah. Makes sense so far. Just seeing the outline.
Yep.
Kind of like, okay, where's he going with this? Interesting.
Yeah, but where does it get weird?
So, nominative singular, masculine. The ending is sigma. I know you're used to Omicron sigma, but it's technically sigma. Omicron is the connecting vowel. So we're getting to the technical ones here. This one is nothing in the feminine because they're words that stems end in an alpha or an eta. They don't need to add to the alpha or eta. Normally, you just memorize the endings as alpha or eta, so it's nothing. You didn't add to it at all. Mind blowing, right? Absolute shocker. Then we have a new Then we have an upsilon. Remember the U endings, omicron, upsilon. Yeah. Then we have a sigma. And then we have an upsilon again. Here for this, maybe. And then we have iota, iota, iota. But the iota is just all subscript underneath a more powerful vowel in these scenarios, I guess. Probably not being very technical with that more powerful vowel. Don't memorize it like that as the concept. So just got a message. To UJ.
Yes.
Who's it from?
It's from my camp.
Well, it's important, isn't it? You can check your messages. I was just messing with you because I heard it. Come on, we have a laugh here. Come on, guys. Come on. We have a new, and a new. Isn't that much more refreshing than what it was before? Of the, oh yes, the what is it? On, ain, on, right? Yeah. This is going to trip you up. The iotas, because hoi and hi. And we just have an alpha. Then it's our friend, the omega nu. He literally never changes. I'll just write him over here too. Never changes. Mega news. Okay. Iota sigmas. You know, voice, ice, voice.
Voice accents.
Is. That's. Wait, do you all, in your honest opinion, does this one look easier or harder to remember?
Easier.
So to you, it's easier. Cleo, is it easier or harder for you so far?
To memorize it would be easier, but to understand how it applies into the translations without the connected, I think it'll be harder to tell if it's genitive. I mean, no, if it's like nominative or nominative under what? Is it nominative or dative? Yeah, it's like plural or singular. I think it'll be harder in that
Mm-hmm.
because you won't have any of the 4 letters to rely on.
That's why I gave you the other ones. Because I was like, for first starting off, it was like, you're going to recognize like that this subscripts. You're going to recognize that pretty differently than, you know, oi and on. It's going to look completely different. This one might trip you all up a little bit. Upsilon sigma. The oops. Then we just have a sigma and then an alpha. So I'm going to move this sigma. Yeah. So there's your original chart. Wonder if they can see it well. Yeah, good enough. They can't see it. Well, that's their problem. Look at the book. Should have been here. Nobody else is watching these anyway. Let's be honest. Okay.
All right.
Well, yeah, but it said nobody else. Just you all. Just you all. You all have your notes. You're taking notes right now. Okay, who's ready for the third declension chart?
Mm.
Woo! Woo! Let's go.
Yeah.
So. Oh my gosh. Wait, that's an S, not a sigma. There you go.
Is this the Proper form.
this is
or
the-
the other one.
This is the proper. It's a sigma, which there's no really connecting vowels for the third declension. It's just first and second.
Okay. No.
So these are just straight up what you're going to see anyway in third declension, which is kind of a blessing. So yeah, sigma. The neuter has nothing. But there is a footnote. Be prepared for the final stem letter to undergo changes. Refer to noun rule 8. Now you might be wondering, what are the noun rules you're speaking of? The things I've been avoiding telling you this whole time because I didn't want you to have to memorize rules. Hmm.
We could try memorizing it.
Well, in that case, you'll have to go to your book. But here is rule 8. I'll tell you now. A tau cannot stand at the end of a word and will drop off. Expect the ending to change. It's a tau. That's basically all that's telling you. Now, Omicron sigma, Omicron sigma. Not bad, right? Always Omicron sigma. I think I see a theme in the dative. It's all iotas.
Are they gonna be subscripts?
Nope.
Okay.
That's the difference with third declension, not subscript. Not subscripted.
They didn't subscribe.
No, they didn't. So yeah, third declension iotas do not subscript, they're just at the end of the word. Then this one gets a little weird. Alpha / noon. Masculine, feminine, I think. Pretty sure.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, there's just not enough of those different ones to bother making 2 different columns for
Yeah.
literally one difference. If I'm correct, let me make sure. There's a lot of footnotes on this page.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out.
On some words, the case endings alternate between an alpha and noon. Okay, it's not even gender. It's not even gender then. I was just incorrect in remembering. It's just one of those two. It'll be one of those. That's it. Have fun putting down the next test.
So there's no explanation why there's a relationship between the two,
What do you mean?
like a relationship, like why you would have one or the other.
Nope. Not that I've seen. Okay. Greek mommies told their Greek babies that that's just how it works. That's what Osborne would tell me. Probably. He told us that a lot. I will repeat it because it's funny. Is it helpful? Not at all, but it's funny. And the neuter is nothing. 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 There we go. So how do you all feel so far? We're about to hit plural. What do you think?
But what do I think?
Yeah.
I'm thinking I want to read this transcript. There are probably a lot of words that's confusing.
Read. Oh. I was like, what transcript? And then I was like, okay. Yeah. It's probably gonna be funny.
Yeah.
You two, any thoughts besides that?
I got everything. The alpha nu was a little bit different. So
Yeah, it's still different, but
if I just remember it.
you gotta remember both. Yeah. Remember that it's one or the other. That's probably what you just said, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. What? I'm totally not deaf or anything. Not going deaf and blind. In my 20s. Okay. So This is one of the weirder ones. But it's kind of memorable. Epsilon sigma. In the nominative plural. Apparently this is technically, I kind of don't like this. Memorize it like this, but this is also a thing apparently where it can just be nothing. But memorize it. Yeah. Is that the only other weird thing it showed in there? Yeah. Alpha. And there's a footnote. Yeah. It's the actual case ending, by the way, actually just shoves an alpha on there. Then I'm looking at the spot. C. So we have iota sigmas, but then we have sigma iotas. Just flops around. Like the head of my marker I just dropped. And we don't even need to mention the genitive plural. It's just always there. It's always the same. But we'll mention them anyway. And then we have the alpha sigma and the alpha. And my alpha sucked there, but I won't fix it. And there's the chart. Decent amount of similarities, right? What the weirdest stuff is literally alpha nu, omicron sigma. That flops, and then that.
Yeah.
That's literally the weirdest stuff on there. Especially this one, probably. It's probably the weirdest thing you've seen.
Yeah, I'm trying to
Besides
figure
the
out
alpha nu.
epsilon sigma.
Yeah, it's just gonna be an S. That's the sound that you'll attach. S.
This is without any subscripts, but so.
Oh, these are subscripted. Yeah. The normal first and second declensions, these are not. Iotas are the only thing I'm aware of that subscripts.
Like for the data plural has that too, right?
Dative singular.
Yeah. This is the only part, dative singular in the first and second declension. They're the only ones that do subscripting.
It's under omega and theta. And alpha.
Yeah. That's it. It's just on first and second. The other ones are just endings that are attached on. They just detach the iota at the end. Should we wait for Jacob to come back?
Did he come back?
I mean, left us stuck. Plus on his ride back.
Anything every 10 minutes.
That's about everything. We can mention pos, pos upon. I'll just mention the concept. So pos upon, you saw pon in one of the translations on the test. Which, by the way, thank you everyone for dealing with that awful test. All of you spent several hours on it. Thank you. I won't make you suffer that much again. If we do it again, we're just gonna do it in one day. And that I feel like you were slightly worried when I said that, but also, do you have a question?
I think it was be honest, it's able to engage if I actually learned anything.
Mhm.
I just think I'm learning.
Which is, yeah, that's the point of the test. Which, not to throw you under the bus, but like you were a little disappointed with yours. Am I correct?
Yeah.
But I will also say you did pretty good for not being at a decent amount of lectures. Right.
Yeah.
Imagine not showing up to class that much and still not failing. Am I wrong?
But I do want to study harder.
Which you'll have the class for that, because I already know you're going to take the class. Better have an A. Better be top score in the class. Okay, you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. But you better make an A, Jay. Especially after I'm giving you all this prep like material. You'll just be literally half a year ahead of people. If you get through the summer, you can be half a year ahead of the class. Finish the chart. I was gonna wait to erase it until you got back.
Yeah, there's only a couple things up to do, so.
Yeah, thank you all for doing the test stuff, for real. And yes, I'm at half a year. Literally, the stuff I'm hoping to cover in the summer is literally the entire first semester's class. So we're covering 16 weeks in 11 weeks, kind of.
Basically, that means
Which is kind of weird to think about. I didn't realize we were moving that fast.
Are we?
I guess. I mean, the halfway point to already be on chapter 10, I think that's good. I can check the date on the first test if you want.
What chapter?
We're trying to get through chapter, well, technically, I guess they went to 19, I think. But like 15's not really a chapter, for example. It's just mentioning verbs in English.
So 9 more chapters.
Did I really not have a date on that? Wow. It was sometime in the semester. Most generic answer. So yeah, we have a decent amount of chapters. Our goal is to make it through chapter 14. Which is just 11, 12, 13, 14. And then we'll go eat Greek deli. On a weekend or something. Everyone actually want to do that? I want to go and do this. While Jay's here. Would you all actually want to do Greek deli time? Get some gyros or gyros. Get each of us a gyros. What? Jay's giving me a weird look.
No, I'm just being
The
quiet.
nominative singular. Gyros. They transliterate upsilons into Ys. So people pronounce it gyros or gyros. But it's technically a gyros. Nerd out to all your friends. Tell them the correct answer. It's not gyros, gyros, it's gyros. Or you have your gyroi, your gyron, your gyrois, your gyrus. See, this is really where it comes in handy to know Greek. I'll make you all order in Greek as well, and the people at the desk won't understand it.
But if we're confusing the singular with the plural,
That'd be all your call.
Yeah. I thought you wanted 15 gyros. I know. I tried to say singular. Sorry. I didn't want 15. I wanted singular. Yeah, that would be pretty bad. Okay, Jacob, you got them all?
yeah.
Okay. Everyone got it? Okay. Now I'm not going to actually erase as much as you might think. Because we're going to mention the fabulous Pas upon. Okay. So pos pos upon means each and every, each in singular, every in plural. Okay.
Yeah, that one. There's another one went over.
Yes. So this is a fun one because there's some adjectives and words in general that depending on the gender, like they're able to be in every gender, but depending on the gender, it will be in a different declension. So for pos pos upon, its masculine and neuter forms are in third declension, but its feminine are in first. So in masculine, it'll use the masculine third declension endings, but in feminine, it's going to use the first declension endings. And the third declension neuter endings in the neuter. How confusing does that sound? Slightly. So the root or the basic form is pon. Okay. In the feminine, it becomes pasa. In the masculine, it's pos. And it stays the same in the neuter. Because we just mentioned, so let's see, masculine third declension, it adds a sigma, right? We know in feminine, it adds an alpha or has no ending. It just changes the stem in that one. Neuter third declension, there's no ending. So it's just pon. Okay. That's why we call it pos pos pon, by the way, because the nominative singular of each. Pos is still the lexical form, but you'll kind of find all three kind of together. Make sense? Too much?
Makes too much sense.
So technically, I gotta be honest, it's pont. I should have mentioned that. I kind of forget about that. Then I looked at my chart and I was like, oh yeah, there's a tau because they're weird. So yeah, we have pontas. We have ponti. And we have ponta. Now to contrast with the feminine, we have wait, why did I do that? Oh gosh. No one called me out on that. I just want to acknowledge that none of you called me out on using a final sigma in the middle of a word.
Ooh,
I'm ashamed. That's like one of those moments in like math class. Yeah. You're supposed to call me out on doing a final sigma there. Come on now. I haven't finished this one, by the way. This one had a final sigma. Yeah. I should probably just pick up and look. Passe. There's subscript. Then pass on. Wow, that's a lot different, isn't it? Between the masculine and the feminine. So you have to remember your third declension endings, but also remember your first. Sometimes it'll be like, the same, but with second declension endings instead or something, Sometimes with these ones that can be in any gender, it just depends on the word. So you'll have to memorize which declensions are for which gender. Another thing to memorize with the words, isn't that great? Yay. Fantas. Ponty. That's a tap. Ponty. Then pond, because it's the neuter. Context. Ponton. Posse. Now, does anyone remember why this isn't Ponce? Why is there no new or tau? Anyone want to give a guess? Because what?
Not a dental.
That's not the reason. Well, it kind of is with tau, but also tau just in general drops out when followed by a sigma. And new also drops out when followed by a sigma. So it's literally like there's a new and a tau here. They add the ending, the tau's like, nah, I'm gonna leave. And then the new's there with the sigma, it's like, no, I'm leaving too. And so they're just both gone. They both are just like, I'm out. I ain't dealing with that sigma. Okay. Makes sense? That's why it's posse.
Posse.
Posse. Or posse. But then they both come back. Or pontas.
Yep, I mean, go. Can you take a picture of the board for me?
Anybody? I can try to.
If you can have it, like, maybe just send it to the group chat. Thanks, Bryce. I'll see you later.
You're welcome. See ya. So we have passai, passon, passais, passas. More familiar stuff, right? Kind of used to this. It's far from the course. This is where stuff's kind of weird and new, right? Then let's see. Panta. Pontone. Passim. Panta. That's passapon for you. By the way, I should probably mention the reason this changes is that it's actually first declension. Because it has to end with a vowel. And alpha and eta. Greek mommies told their Greek babies that it's pasa because it's first declension. You know it doesn't work as first declension if it doesn't end with a vowel that is alpha or eta, you silly little child. That's why it's not pon or pont, it's pasa. And that's why this one still has a consonant at the end. Which technically just this, but then the sigma comes in as like bye. And it's just pos. But then there's no sigma on this one, so the new just stays, and the tau can't end a word, so it just disappears. Make sense?
So is this just another example?
Yes. It's its own thing. It's just kind of starting to introduce the idea that there can be ones with different declensions at different genders of their forms. That sentence probably didn't make sense, but
So it's picking its own pronouns.
not the way I would word it, but no, not really. It's choosing its declensions for each gender that it can be in. Remember, all of these mean the same thing. They all just mean each. There's no different way to write it. They just mean each. These all just mean every, or all, I guess.
Every one of those means every.
Each of them means every. Each individual. Each us. Or I guess I should say each haste means every. Is that better? Each one. This one's another one I can go over its chart as well. It's another one just like it. It's a haste me a hen. And all of it, every single form just means one. That's why it's not in the plural. Not a joke. I'll just write it for your memorization on the beginning bit. Haste me a hen. Masculine, feminine, neuter. And guess which one's the actual correct form? The neuter. Yes, them stinking sigmas. The sigma at the nominative masculine makes the epsilon lengthen to add an iota. Can you believe it? Stinking thing making it lengthen to make an A instead of an E. So they had to add an extra letter. And then Mia, where the heck that thing come from, huh? Come on now.
I didn't do it.
I wasn't saying you did it. Disgusting. It's overboard. So, for example, some of them, like agathos, it's the pretty sure it's the adjective for good. It just is a second, first, second instead of 313. So it just uses your normal case ending chart. Agathos does. But then there's like pas upon, and I think haste me a hen goes with the same pattern as this one. 313. But then there's Ionios, which is like, eternity. Or eternal. Yeah, it's eternal. Is all seconds. Even the feminine, it has second declension endings.
So how would those look? Would those look like the masculine?
Yeah. They just are all second. I don't have a chart right here to show you. But you just all have second declension ending. And then there's tis and t. Remember those? The tis and tis with the accents. Those are all third declension in every gender. So you kind of get the idea. You got to memorize with some of them. Most adjectives you'll run across will just be a 2-1-2 format where the feminine is in first and the standard masculine neuter or second declension, like you normally knew already. That's what 2-1-2 is. It's the normal. Now, you might be wondering, some of you, what about the article? Are any of you wondering that? What happened to the article? So, what if I told you that's the fun part? Where things get worse? Or what if I told you it's the easy part and nothing changes at all? Which would be better? Which would be better? It's a pointless question. I'm just trying to mess with you. The articles don't change. So doesn't matter what declension. A third declension nominative singular will still use ha in the masculine.
Isn't third declension masculine and feminine combined though? So like on a chart.
Well, I mean, in this case, with like pas upon, they're different. Like the feminine uses the first declension. But if it's feminine in, like, if you have a third declension feminine noun, it's going to use the normal feminine. It's going to use the hey in the nominative. So you just still use the same exact articles. You're the same. You don't think about declension. You just think about the case and the gender and the number. That's how you know if it goes to something. Makes sense? Keeps it simple. So then it even can help you because then you'd be like, I don't know which form this pont is in, you know, because that could be the masculine accusative, that could be the neuter accusative plural, you know, it could be the nominative plural, you know, for the neuter. I mean, a lot of things. But then it's like, oh, it has a tanta. Well, that kind of narrows it down, doesn't it? Though, obviously, in this case, that would be in the subjunctive or in the attributive. But, or not subjunctive, substantival adjective is every, but you get what I'm trying to say, right? You can tell easier based off the article. The article will help you.
The context is
Context is key. Trust the articles.
Unless it's not connected to it, it's just a pronoun.
Yeah, if it's just its own demonstrative or relative pronoun, then you're kind of screwed. Okay. Think that's it. Pretty much. Yeah. How do y'all feel? All right. What time is it? Okay. What do we want to do, guys? You want to look at the workbook? Do I hear some yeses or some? We're gonna do it whether or not you say yes, maybe.
Yeah,
Ah, shoot! I meant. No.
so,
Gotta
what?
take a picture.
I know. Just gonna take a picture of them. Send it to Jay now. Here, straight out of the book. There we go. Where are you going?
We're back.
Okay. Have fun on your little adventure. Wow, that was terrible wording. Be honest, am I cringy at times in how I talk? Kind of awkward, embarrassing. It's totally not on purpose. Totally not. No.
I always thought it was.
Well, maybe you're wrong. How do y'all feel? Give me honest truth while Eli's gone.
Just hung out.
I noticed you've been on your phone. You don't need the book right now.
You said work.
Well, you were on your phone earlier. Also, I saw you. I ain't lying.
Okay, I have one right here. I haven't really had a. I don't know, I've had a couple times to like check on a Greek class, see if I could take a Greek class in the fall, but I'm not saying see any.
Oh no, it's Hebrew in the fall.
Yeah, so I can't take.
You want to take Hebrew? Hey, the harder part will literally just be the alphabet. If you have a freebie in the fall, take Hebrew. It's great. I can give you the time right now that it's at.
All right. Give me.
Absolutely. Of course, I'm in the Hebrew class. We'll be teaching. Well, absolutely. Yeah, I'm gonna love Hebrew. There's only one Hebrew class. They only do one language class at a time, so everyone's in the same group. We could be table partners.
I feel it.
It's at Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 11 to 11:50. He's like, oh well, that's full.
I can do it.
So let's see. Look at the Hebrew chart. Yes.
What's the course code?
Hold on. I think it's HBW or no, it's HEB. HEB. He's joining Hebrew, by the way. Y'all can't. It's a 400 level.
Do we need any
Prerequisites? No.
I can't even do 300 level until next semester.
Ooh, rest in peace. Imagine
Comp.
still having to do that and also chapel.
Comp.
ooh,
Because of comp.
Yeah.
What?
You can't do 300, 400 until you get comp done.
That's
don't be
okay.
homework heavy. I'm doing operating systems
I have no idea if it's gonna be homework heavy.
because I'm doing operating systems and software engineering.
Hey, you can always drop it.
I don't like dark classes.
Hey, it's only $10. Or you could just stick with it and I'm also in there.
All right.
Don't
I'm in.
did you actually put it in?
Yeah.
Wait, how many? You only have
Well, class.
4 classes?
These I couldn't really find
How
it.
many credit hours are all your classes?
Three.
So wait, you're not even full time.
Not yet. I mean, I'm still looking for a couple more classes today.
Yeah, we're the supplements. Don't do the call or chapel required, but there's like gospel.
Wait, are you
Actually,
doing
you
the
probably
call
can't.
in the fall?
Yeah,
Like the leadership summit thing?
yeah.
So you're going also?
You're going.
Yeah.
I'm only going because I guess I have to, kinda.
Yeah. A lot of us who got here last summer, like a lot of our
I think
CC
Intro to
trainers
Old
got.
Testament. Something else. At 1. Nice class.
Yeah, I was looking for like another business class. I mean, an easy one.
It's also biblical interpretation. That's also a thing, but I think it could be full. Don't know.
Well, I'm in Hebrew now.
Here in Hebrew now, biggest mistake of my life, says Jacob. In the spur of the moment, we'll see if you regret that later. Your advisor's gonna be like, "You did what? You're taking what class? I'm taking Hebrew.
I mean,
I'm taking Hebrew. I took Greek this summer, and I think I could do Hebrew. The teacher really encouraged me that I could do it. It's like, who's the teacher? Just a fellow student. He's giving me the class with me.
He wants you to be in the same class.
He hasn't even taken the Hebrew class, and he told you could take it. I could see the computer science professor right now being confused. Huh? This one?
Just listening to all of our conversations about. And
I could drop it right now, but I mean,
Why would you do that? You're looking for more credit hours to take anyway.
I know, but I'm thinking, but I don't want to like pay bills with much points for hard classes. But you know what?
Hey, it won't be worse than mine. Just keep that in mind. It won't be worse than mine.
Okay. All right.
Make yourself